I did a little reading on you. As someone who grew up in Iran, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on the ongoing war? Start broad.
Well, let me just say this from the outset so everybody is aware of it. We basically do not look at this, at least as a political and historical event, from either a Republican or a Democratic sort of point of view. We look at it from the regional point of view. And I have to say this without any hesitation, that the overwhelming majority of Iranians, especially those we speak inside Iran, they are, to be very blunt, sick and tired of this regime. And they want this to go. They wanted to go yesterday. And you saw in January probably several days of major protests, millions of people coming to the streets calling for the end of the regime. And they unleashed massive, massive repression against them. We believe that somewhere between 35 to 50,000 people were massacred in less than 2 days, which is, it's at the level of the Nazis during Second World War. I think there was, even with the Nazis, there was only one case in Ukraine where they massacred, several thousand people in 1 day. This level of brutality and violence in a culture which is very ancient. The Iranians have been there for 3,000 years in recorded history, and was known in the Middle East as the most hospitable and one of the kindest people you will meet, and one of the most educated. 70% of the population below 30 years old, but highly educated, the Gen Z of Iran, who are the majority now, they just have had it with them. And it's like two different planets. You have a ruling elite, which is completely detached, and you have 90 million people, 90, which has been waiting for this moment. So when Khamenei, the supreme leader, was killed on Saturday, I could not believe the jubilation. I mean, despite the massacre in January, tens of thousands of people coming to the streets and dancing and singing. I think that the regime is crumbling right now as we speak. I think the Iranian working classes, middle classes, the educated, they want to transition to a democratic system of government. As I mentioned, this is a very advanced society educationally. 57% of university graduates are women. This is not Saudi Arabia or, an oil-producing country without much of a middle class. And they're very proud of this accomplishment in terms of their potentials. And I have to tell you that for the first time, what I see is a very unified opposition to the regime. The symbol of the opposition is Prince Reza Pahlavi, who is the son of the late Shah of Iran. He left Iran right before the revolution of '79. He was studying to become a jet fighter pilot at Lubbock, Texas. And because the revolution came, he never went back. But he's very popular. And every time I say this, a lot of American journalists would say, oh, the Iranians want to go back to monarchy. It's a transitional leader. His job, he's not running for office. He's not running to become a king or even the president. He is preparing the process for Iranians to have the chance to go to ballot boxes and choose whatever. You want a constitutional republic, U.S. style, great. You want to go constitutional monarchy, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, even British style, great. Whatever the case may be, it should be one person, one vote, rule of law, respect for equality of all citizens regardless of who they are. But it's very important also, and my last sentence, is to preserve the territorial integrity of Iran, that you don't have a civil war and you don't have internal strife. What I am worried about is the Iranian armed forces, because we need them to defect. Some have already, they're not going to their offices and they realize the regime is crumbling. But there is a segment which has remained loyal, and we want them to also defect. And once that defection is completed, this regime is only standing on repression right now. If we can get rid of this security force, basically, I think the end has arrived. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, maybe for people who don't know, what was it like in Iran before this regime took over?
So I grew up there and I went to school in Iran. Very good school system, first of all. I owe so much. I went to a variety of different schools because as you have here, you have elementary school, grade school, high school. As an elementary school, I went to a Catholic school, which was, Irish and Italian teachers and so on and so forth. Grade school, I went to a purely Iranian Persian grade school. And then in the last years in high school, I went to a school that you could also take classes in English or French as well as Persian, which shows the flexibility of the system that you had. Whatever the case may be, I think Iran was moving rapidly toward becoming a major power in the region, especially economically. Iran was ahead of South Korea. Iran was ahead of China by a couple hundred miles in terms of GNP, gross national product, in terms of the average income of Iranian citizens, all this. And was it a democratic society? No, it was not. The Shah, the father of Prince Reza Pahlavi, was autocratic. But I have to tell you, in comparison to these folks, nothing in terms of massacring people. And when the revolution started, I never forget, in 78, he realized that he had become very unpopular and he was fighting a terminal cancer. So his statement, which I heard for myself, was a king does not want to stain his hands with the blood of his people. If they don't like me, I would leave. And they left without much killing. There was some demonstrations, shooting in the streets, but nothing in comparison to what has happened now. But Iran, again, economically was moving forward. Socially, Iranian women were becoming very active. Almost 40% of the labor force were women, which was a huge change forward. What is very interesting, though, is I was speaking to a friend in Iran, and he told me, he said, we were ahead of South Korea, and today we are behind North Korea. Do you see what I mean? It's crazy. That is, the revolution was not for these people to come and impose this Islamist, fanatical religious regime. It was for more democracy, for more freedom. And they used the revolution to seize power, and they have never let go. They have just, every few years, there have been attacks, massacres, imprisonments. Remember in 2022, there was another major uprising, and they just fired at people, just randomly on the streets, killing several hundred people then as well. So the question the Iranians ask themselves today is, what is wrong with us going to the streets, demonstrating? We just shout at something, and you're killing people because they have opposite view of you. And so in some ways, what it did in January, it broke the back, and it just, I don't think it's reversible. It's very interesting that Iranians watch the news, CNN, the same channels, Fox, MSNBC, so on and so forth. And to the last person, the message I'm getting is we are neither Republican or Democrats, but we like this foreign policy of U.S. administration, Israel standing behind us until we get rid of this regime. Getting rid of this regime means what? End of a nuclear program, which is threatening the entire region. Second, end of this ballistic missile program, which is now reaching Europe if they want to hit European capitals. And third, very important, end of terrorism. You have the Hezbollah, the Party of God in Lebanon, you have Hamas in Gaza. This is unacceptable for the region. So the message is stand with us, support us, we greatly appreciate it. All these cries, USA, USA, USA from the Iranians, is to send a message to their American friends that they are pro-US, they want US to stand with them, and they are promising that the future Iran will be peaceful, democratic, and pro-West.
Okay, I mean, so as you know, President Trump initially said this was going to be like a couple days, and now it's 4 to 6 weeks is the new timeline. How long do you think this will go on? What do you think it's going to take for this to end?
I think that's a great question. I think a lot of people are making the wrong comparison with Venezuela. That was a whole different operation. You just wanted to nab a leader and his wife and bring them to justice. This is a system which is much better armed, much better financed, much better organized, and it's going to resist. I would personally, based on my own understanding, I would suggest that the system, as I'm watching it very carefully, and we are in touch with Iran on a daily and nightly basis, it is really crumbling, but it's going to take a bit of time. It's going to take several weeks before you have a complete collapse. And I think at that point, we need to be aware that there is a leadership outside Iran which is willing to go in and assume the leadership, which I mentioned, Reza Pahlavi, the son of the late Shah. And I hope the United States would support him so we can have a peaceful transition and we will maintain a sense of stability inside the country. I think it's going to take a little while. I think we might have a few more casualties because they have a ballistic missile system. It's not going to be that quick as Venezuela, but it's not going to be an endless war like Iraq. And the principal difference between this and Afghanistan or Iraq is that we don't have boots on the ground. We are relying, our boots on the ground are the people of Iran. The people of Iran are ready to take over. And we didn't have that in Iraq. We didn't have that in Afghanistan. We have that in Iran. There is a ready-made alliance with the people of Iran, which is ready to go and seize power. Yeah.
So you mentioned that leader that you'd prefer coming in. Can you say his name again? Just to make sure, and maybe even spell it.
Yeah, sure. So we refer to him as a form of respect as Prince, because he was the son of former Shah or King of Iran. His first name is Reza, R-E-Z-A, Reza. And his last name is Pahlavi, P-A-H-L-A-V-I, P-A-H-L-A-V-I, Reza Pahlavi. He actually lives outside Washington, D.C. He has a very good relationship with both political parties, both Democrats and Republicans. He has been in touch with the Trump administration. He and Senator Lindsey Graham, of the Senate, were actually in an interview together. And everybody in Washington knows him very well. He has very good friendships. I think there is a level of trust in him. The question, I think, in the minds of some is whether he has the charisma or the power and the reach to get to Iran and keep the country together. I think that's the thing that worries a lot of folks in the White House and beyond. We do not want Iran to start crumbling into factions and armed groups and so on and so forth, fighting for power. We want a peaceful transition. I personally think that he can serve as a national symbol of unity until we get to ballot box, and then Iranians will be free to choose their own representatives. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything you wish I would have asked, or one message you want to get across?
No, I think the only message is that I have noticed that in the beginning, especially in January, a lot of folks were sort of saying, "This is Middle East. Why are people not burning U.S. flag or Israeli flag? Why don't we have a situation like Gaza and Hamas?" Well, this is Iran. They're very pro-American. They're pro-Israel. They don't want to destroy American interests or Israeli interests. In fact, one of the first elements in the agenda is immediately normalize relations with Washington and Israel. That is, they want to create a very friendly relationship. So I think, especially on the left, there was a hesitation. Are they pro-Trump or they Trump? They don't think about pro-Trump, pro-Democrat. They are pro-freedom. They want to be free. Now, if there is a president in the White House which is willing to get rid of their oppressors, of course, they would be crazy not to take this opportunity. So instead of looking from the prism of Washington politics or partisan politics in our country, we should look at it from what is it that the Iranian people are asking for? They're asking for American support. And they want us to know that what they want is democracy, what they want is freedom, and they want an end to this religious dictatorship, which has brought nothing but misery, unemployment, repression, and a great deal of suffering for the people.